Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch the interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me. Hello and welcome to a special interview for The Wire. My guest today had his overseas citizenship of India revoked because he exercised freedom of speech. What he said was not illegal, what he said was not untrue. And that raises the critical question, has he been punished because the government doesn't like what he said? Joining me for this discussion is the well-known Kannada actor Chetan Kumar, better known as Chetan Ahimsa. Chetan Kumar, before we discuss the reasons why your overseas citizenship was revoked, let me ask you, what exactly is the present situation today? I know you got a letter dated the 28th of March saying that you had to return the OCI card within 15 days. But shortly after that, it was reported in the papers that the Home Ministry had sent you a notice cancelling your OCI status with immediate effect. So what exactly is the position today?
On April 14th, which is a special day for us because it's Baba Sahib's Jayanti, on that day morning, I received a notice from the Home Ministry saying my visa has been cancelled and I have 15 days to turn in my OCI. Now, this is something that comes 8 to 10 months after I was given a show cause notice by the Home Ministry to say we have suspicions that you have done, and in fact, in the notice it said that alleged anti-Indian activities, which is unfortunate and ironic because we believe equalitarians are the ones truly upholding the Constitution and the idea of India. And it's in fact the political parties, especially in Karnataka and across the nation, who are distorting the idea of the preamble.
I'll come to those details in a moment's time. But on the 14th, you got a notice to say your visa was cancelled and you must hand in your OCI card. So at the moment, you've lost your visa, which presumably means you've lost the right to be in India, but you retain the citizenship. Is that right?
No, I haven't seen the return to citizenship. What I know is that my visa has been cancelled. I am applying for an appeal in the High Court where, as we speak right now, it is actually being presented in front of the Karnataka High Court to stay this order and allow me to stay in India, and say on the basis that this is irrational, malified, and arbitrary, and in fact illegal that this has happened.
So you're hoping that the High Court, either today or tomorrow or at its next hearing, will stay the revocation of your OCI status. Is that right?
Yes, I'm hoping they will stay the revocation of my OCI status and that I could be in India and continue my work to serve society, which I have been doing to the best of my ability for 18 years.
Let's come to that notice that you were mentioning a moment ago. This is the notice from the Home Ministry to you. It is accused you of, and I think I'm quoting correctly, being involved in many unlawful activities. And then it says, the activities of Mr. Chetan A. Kumar are inimical to the interests of the general public. Did they give you any specific details of what's brought them to this conclusion, or are these just vague, unsubstantiated allegations?
These seems like vague, unsubstantiated allegations. See, what I have been doing social work and activism consistently for at least 12, 13 years, since 2011 anti-corruption, and to a considerable degree of success in the state of Karnataka on a structural level. Now, in the past 2 years, since 2021, cases have been built up, almost a narrative created that I am doing something unlawful or illegal. This, I would say, stemmed from the most important, the Brahmanism issue that I took up, which is Brahmanism is not against any community or any group of people or any caste. It is a system of birthright-based privilege and hierarchy.
Absolutely. I'll come to each of those in a moment's time. But let me just clarify for the audience. that letter from the Home Ministry alleges that you're involved in unlawful activities, but gives you no specific instances. It claims that your activities are inimical to the interests of the general public, but again, gives you no specific instances.
It does mention, it mentions very trivial things such as a COVID mask issue, which the police kind of created on a petty case. It mentions
what is the COVID mask issue?
COVID mask issue. It's actually a social distancing issue where a group of people were there outside the police station in the Brahmanism issue that I brought up, where we were all wearing masks, but we were in close proximity because a lot of people had gathered in solidarity.
So on that basis, they claim they're going to cancel your overseas citizenship.
That is one of the bases. And
I mean, you're not joking.
No, I'm not joking. It is written both in the show cause notice and is also written in the April 14th, where I am being,
in other words, because you
canceled.
were part of a group who were not keeping social distancing while COVID was a concern, they are not threatening, they are actually going to revoke your overseas citizenship.
That is one of the factors, along with the fact that I have been put in jail twice over the past 2 years, one in 2022 for writing a judge, questioning the judge on his acumen in terms of
Let's come to those
rights.
two instances because they've been in the papers, and in a sense, even though they don't really provide grounds to remove your citizenship, nonetheless, those are part of the accusations against you. Now, in February 2022, you were briefly arrested for a comment on a Karnataka High Court judge who was at the time hearing what's called the hijab case. You pointed out that 2 years earlier, in 2020, that judge had made disturbing comments when he observed that it was unbecoming of an Indian woman to fall asleep after being ravished. And presumably on that basis, the judge gave advance bail to the rape accused.
Yes.
And then you said in your tweet, now the same judge is determining whether hijabs are acceptable or not in government schools. Does he have the clarity required?
Yes, it was a question.
Absolutely. Now, first of all, what the judge said is deeply disturbing to many people, not just you.
There was a lot of outrage from the legal community as well, from lawyers and advocates when that happened 2 years prior to that.
And I presume there would have been a lot of outrage from ordinary people because this is not expected of a judge.
Absolutely.
Secondly, to point out that the judge had said these disturbing things is not an offense.
It's not an offense.
And after that, to raise a question whether the judge has the clarity required is a very legitimate question.
Yes, I feel so.
On what grounds were you arrested?
I was not arrested on contempt of court, I was arrested on creating enmity between communities, which I was not given bail. I was immediately put into judicial custody for 7 days. This is 504 and 505. Now, this seems to be...
But who are the communities you were alleged to be creating enmity between?
It seems to be a concocted, baseless case just to put me in jail and threaten not just me and scare not just me, but anybody who speaks out against this judge.
Did you point this out to the police when they came to arrest you, or to the court who put you into judicial custody? That there's nothing wrong in what I've said, and the comments which are disturbing deserve to be questioned.
Interestingly, when the police came to pick me up on that day, February 22nd, 2022, they had no case, they had no warrant. They had actually had me so-called kidnapped for 10 hours. With that, they broke all violations without a complainant, without anybody filing a case. Then 10 hours later, they come out with the suo motu case that the full police inspector of the police station where I live filed. And there was a lot of outcry from Dalit activists and activists across the state saying, where is Chetan? He seems to have been kidnapped.
And when you were produced in court in 2022, did you point this out to the court? That A, I've been arrested without a warrant. B, for 10 hours the police seem to have no case against me. And C, the so-called charge is not an offense. I am allowed to comment on a judge. I am allowed to say that he said disturbing things. And I'm allowed on that basis to raise a legitimate question whether he has the clarity required. What did the court say when you pointed this out?
On that night when it was presented to the judge by my lawyer, it seemed to be that there was, I don't like to say this because I have no case claiming this, but it seems that judges seem to protect another judge and you're questioning a judge. And I hold that a judge is a public servant, I think IPC number 21, should be able to question, but that's a different story. But even if the judge should not be questioned, you cannot create a false case like promoting enmity between communities and intentionally put someone
So
seemingly
the court disregarded all the things you said and went instead to put you into judicial custody for 7 days.
Yes, yes, that's what happened, and it was from that night and 7 days, and it was 7 days, and in fact, if something under 7 years, it should actually be given bail and not judicial custody.
And that was denied to you.
And that was denied.
Let's come to the second instance when you were arrested. That happened very recently. It happened on the 21st of March, exactly a month ago to the day.
Yes.
And this time, the Bangalore police arrested you for tweeting that Hindutva is built on lies and can be defeated by truth.
Yes.
And going by the newspaper reports that I've read, your tweet first of all pointed out that Savarkar's claim that the Indian nation began when Ram defeated Ravan and returned to Ayodhya is a lie.
Yeah.
Secondly, you also said that the claim made in 1992 that the Babri Masjid is the birthplace of Ram is a lie. Yeah. And thirdly, you said that the claim made, I believe, in 2023 that Uri Gowda and Nanja Gowda killed Tipu Sultan is a lie.
Yeah.
Did you point out to the court that even if it may be hurtful to the ears of people who believe these to be facts, that in fact these facts are lies, they cannot prove that they are facts?
Absolutely. The right to offend is a basic aspect of freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And I have actually brought out facts and evidence-based statements saying the truth is equality and Hindutva is built on lies. Hindutva is not...
But more importantly, the three specific lies that you said were lies are believed by most historians, I won't say all, but most historians, to not be true.
Absolutely not be true. This is a fact. Even in the Karnataka elections that are upcoming, Uri Gowda, Nanje Gowda killing Tipu Sultan was a concoction to create enmity between two strong communities, the Vakligas, a feudal community, and the Muslims in Karnataka in order to create that kind of animosity. And it's based on no evidence. It's based on no historical basis. It's all a concoction.
So when you pointed out to the court that what I claim is a lie, because the other side cannot prove it's a fact, what did the court say? And also, when you pointed out, most historians believe it's a lie. What did the court say?
The court said 295A, I am hurting religious sentiments, which is unfortunate and ironic because we hold that Hindutva is a socio-cultural political ideology. It is not a religious ideology. Can you question religion? I believe so. I believe 295A should be watered down, but this is not even a religious matter. This is not Hindutva is a socio-cultural political ideology. If it wants religious mandate, like the separate Lingayat religion.
So the court deliberately conflated Hindutva with Hinduism.
With Hindutva.
Converting Hindutva into a religion, which it is not.
Which it is not.
And claiming that by pointing out certain essential things that Hindutva believes in, not Hinduism, you've hurt Hindu sentiments.
I've heard Hindu sentiments.
This is convoluted logic to the point of being bizarre.
It is convoluted logic. If Hindutva, and I hold wants religious mandate, we have Lingayat religion that is fighting for religious mandate. We have Sarana Adivasis across this nation that are fighting for religious mandate. Hindutva should say we are a religion and fight for that religious mandate and not Hinduism. And I will support that Hindutva claim. But it is not a religion. It is a socio-cultural political ideology. It should be open to questioning, and I've built it on facts.
In both these instances, what happened in February 2022 when you tweeted about a Karnataka judge who was in the hijab case, and now in March 21 of this year, in both these instances it seems that the judge who heard you and the judge who remanded you into judicial custody refused to accept the true facts of the case, but went on the basis either that they wanted to protect a fellow judge, which is what you suspect was the case in 2022, or because wrongly they were conflating Hindutva with Hinduism. In both cases, the judges have been unjust to you. I'm deliberately using that word.
In fact, the judges, I feel, have been unjust. And the Brahmanism case, which was in 2021, which I was also at 295 for hurting religious feelings, at that time, there wasn't a judge. There was a police inquiry, and they didn't put me in jail. But it seems to be that the powers that be want to create a narrative, want to create me as a troublemaker, as flawed, as doing illegal, extra-legal activities, and find excuses to put me in jail, almost work backward, rather than actually do punitive action for some wrong.
Let's take up that instance of Brahmanism, as you quoted, because I have a feeling that is when your troubles really began. It was June 2021, and if I recall correctly, you said Brahmanism is the root cause of caste inequality in India. And at the time, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad wrote directly to the FRRO, which is the Foreigners Regional Registration Office, to say that your overseas citizenship should be revoked. I get the feeling that A, the problem is political it's not legal, it's not allegedly criminal. And secondly, because the VHP is a close ally of this government, the government has buckled under pressure of an ally.
We have been questioning both the JDS and the Congress as well as the BJP. Now, in Karnataka, all three political parties in the past 10 years have been in power. Now, in the past 3 years, these cases have amounted since the BJP came to power. Now, when I brought up the Brahminism issue as a systemic scourge, not against any community, and as a mindset scourge, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad did write to the FRO office, and caste Brahmin lobbies felt that they were targeted unjustly, and it was not against caste, it was not against any community. So they also filed cases, and this was for 10 to 15 hours brought in front of the Basangudi police station.
There is a body of literature that has made a series of allegations or even theoretical cases against the adverse impact of Brahmanism on India, Indian life, Indian caste. Yes. What is wrong in talking about it?
This is an intellectual issue that is in the ivory towers, in intellectual debate.
The entire ideology of Periyar is in fact rooted in a critique of Brahmanism.
Absolutely. In 1938, Baba Sahib in Nasik says that the problem against workers is both Brahmanism and capitalism. He uses that word as a negation of fraternity, liberty, and equality. And that is just a term that I used that is all across intellectual discourse. And I don't know why these communities seem to be
Which brings me back to the point I made a moment ago. Brahmanism triggered something in the VHP because they obviously see themselves as an association that protects Brahmins. And as a result, the VHP, an ally of the Modi government, wrote to the FRO to say, remove his overseas citizenship status. This is a political problem, not an issue to do with whether you said something that is illegal, not an issue to do with whether you acted in a way which is deemed to be criminal. It's a political concern against you.
It is a political concern. I hold that the status quo Hindu lobbies of the caste Brahmins, as well as the hyper-Brahmanism of the Hindutva lobbies, join hands because they are both questioned with this kind of ideological
framework. When did you become aware that you were an anathema to right-wing organizations like the VHP? And secondly, what was it that you were doing that would help explain to you why they've taken against you in this way?
See, Mr. Thapal, I've always articulated that our threat is not the right wing and the BJP only. It is a system of inequality and injustice. Now, I have been questioning Modi's, I've been studying about and questioning ever since I was in college in 2002. And even before 2014, I brought about how it's not either the BJP or the Congress that is alternative for us. We need an alternative equalitarian option. So I've been under the radar since 2013-14, and even during my Delhi protest, which led to 528 Adivasi homes, which the BJP charge sheeted at that point, not taking any action, but putting it in their manifesto.
So they see you as an adversary, they see you as an opponent, perhaps they even see you as an enemy. Because in some senses, the things you stand for, the activities you do, threaten them in one way or another.
Absolutely. It threatens the power structure, a system of inequality, and we are the panacea, we are the solution, what we see is Baba Sahib and Tande Periyar's ideology.
And the interesting thing is you're not simply targeting the BJP or the right wing.
No.
You're targeting what you call a system which is adverse to the interests of the Indian people.
A system
of which you believe perhaps Congress is at times as much involved as the BJP.
Yes, absolutely. This is a system of inequality that the political Hindu parties, that status quo incrementalist parties, the Congress, the JDS, the AAP that is recently, and these continue, as well as the Hindutva party of BJP, which is the failure of the Hindu parties that has come in. But it is a system of inequality, and equalitarianism is the solution.
In what year did you first become aware that I've become a target for people like the VHP? I know that this particular instance about Brahmanism happened in 2021, June 2021, so it's almost 2 years old. But were you aware that you were a threat to them earlier, or was this the first time it became clear to you?
I had a case after my Adivasi case in 2017. The 2018 on April 1st.
Explain briefly, what is the Adivasi case?
In 2016-2017, I fought the Karnataka state government, which is the Congress government, about they basically ran over the homes of 528 Adivasis in Coorg. We said that there must be rehabilitation, there must be homes provided. We led a large-scale movement. I don't know why, but after that, that case where we fought the Congress government and rehabilitated the homes and provided, the BJP in 2018 charge sheeted me in their manifesto and in their own ways on April 1st. I think I was under the radar of BJP even when I was fighting the Congress and the JDS political parties.
So the BJP has taken a dislike to you, to put it euphemistically, because of your fighting in favor of the Adivasis when
Yes.
their homes were razed, but at the time it was Congress that was in power in
It was the
Karnataka.
Congress that
But
was
that was sufficient to go to the BJP into seeing you as an opponent and an enemy, and from that moment onwards you believe either the BJP or its allies like the VHP have been after your blood.
Yes, they have seen me as a threat. They have understood that our ideological basis is the solution and narrative.
Who is our?
I hold that equalitarian, Ambedkarites, Periyarists, in Karnataka's context, Kuempu, Baswais, anybody who believes in an equalitarianism based on justice and rationality.
And they don't like you for that.
They don't like that ideology because it is a threat to whatever they stand for, which is based on lies and hate.
Now, in recent weeks and months, I've seen in the media that several papers have supported you, several media organizations have supported you. But what I've also noticed is that when you first got arrested in February 2022, very few members of the Kannada film fraternity actually came out in support. And I believe when you got arrested in March this year, just a month ago, actually no one in the Kannada film fraternity came out in support. How do you respond to that? That these are your colleagues. You work together. You're being unjustly, unfairly treated. And either very few support you, or this year, no one supports you.
I'm very grateful that the Dalit movements, that activist circles have supported me consistently.
What about your own film fraternity?
The film industry is based on commercial success. There's no presiding ideological premise in the film industry. They're interested in bank balance, box office success. I would say they lack the social concern, they lack the social understanding, and they lack a courage to take a stand against injustice. I have supported individual members when they have been unjustly targeted in the film industry, almost single-handedly supporting them.
These people lack the courage to support you, in case by supporting you, they lost popularity, they lost fans.
They risk popularity, they risk, most importantly, box office collections. They risk even any kind of, they feel police
So they
targeted.
converted support for you into the question, is it risky for me?
Yes, it becomes a personal choice. It becomes a personal risk for them. It becomes a career risk. And that since the film industry is not built on social concern, it's built on making a successful film in the box office, I don't even expect them to stand for me. But of course, there was some disappointment, especially with the people who you did stand for.
There was some disappointment.
There was some disappointment because you believe that people will take the high ground. They'll stand for what is right and what is just, regardless of personal career. But that doesn't seem to be the case in film industry, and I've accepted that reality.
K.M. Chaitanya, who I believe directed your first film, Dinaglu, suggests that the problem is, A, you don't have active film clubs like other stars do. And secondly, he says, you have not done films with a mass following because you've been particularly, his words are, picky about the kind of films you've done. Is there some truth to that?
I have been picky about the films I've done. I don't believe in fan clubs because I don't believe cinema stars should have fans at all because they're undeserving or their contribution to a successful film is very little. But at the same time, the film fans should not be blind individuals. The support that I have should not be because I like Chetan in his movies. The support that I have should be I stand for what he stands for ideologically. So I would rather have Dalit organizations, Kannada organizations, equalitarian organizations support me than film fans who look to me as
And those organizations have supported you.
And they have supported me.
But it's the fans who haven't.
It's the fans who haven't, and that is fine. I understand that if a film fan likes you because of the roles you play and the films you do. They don't like you for the stances you take and the ideology. It's about the face and the external rather than an internal kind of understanding of society and the solutions.
Except when in Tamil Nadu, film stars, and I won't be invidious to name them, but there are several, decide to form political parties. They get that political support not necessarily because of what they stand for politically, but because their fan following, their film following, their star following translates immediately. That is not happening in your case.
It's not a sustainable model. Film fans will not be able to prop you up in the modern sense. You have to have a strong ideological acumen, and you have to build an alternative on the basis of ideology rather than any kind of cinema success.
Let me quote what the Deccan Herald wrote in a very strong editorial defending you literally 2 days ago on the 19th of April. The OCI status of a person is not a gift or largesse from the government to a person. It's a legal entitlement of a person of Indian origin. It cannot be denied or taken away arbitrarily or on spurious grounds or on political consideration.
Yes.
The question is, will either the government of India or the courts accept this point?
I do hold that the courts will. I hold that the courts are making very sensible statements when it comes to the same-sex marriage issues. Courts have been upholding democratic rights, we believe autonomously, to a high level. And I do believe they see this as arbitrary, as spurious, and a political act.
Are you confident that your case, which I presume is at the Karnataka High Court level,
yes,
will actually find that the threat of removing your overseas censorship is unjust and mistaken and unfounded, and clear you of that danger completely?
I am confident, I am hopeful, and I will continue to fight because the courts will stand
And if the
for what is
Karnataka
right.
High Court lets you down, will you go all the way to the Supreme Court?
Absolutely. I will continue to fight in the courts.
You will continue
the
last moment?
I will to the last moment. I will continue to fight.
All the way to the Supreme Court?
All the way to the Supreme Court. My dedication is to the people of Karnataka and the people of India. I have chosen, I am by accidental birth, I have not been born in India and Karnataka, but by choosing, I believe in supporting the people of Karnataka and India. My allegiances lie here. And Indianness is not derived by passport. Indianness is not derived even by birth. Indianness is derived by your contributions to an equalitarian
Regardless
society.
of the fact that the passport you carry is an American passport, you identify as an Indian.
I identify as an Indian. I identify as a Kannadiga. I identify by ideology rather than by accidental birth, which wasn't my choice.
Let me quote what you said to the News Minute not so long ago. This seems to be an act of the union government with support from state-level lobbies to silence activists and create an atmosphere of fear in the country.
Absolutely.
What do you think of the Narendra Modi government today? And more particularly, what do you think of Narendra Modi himself?
The Modi government has, in the past 9 years, captured the imagination of the people successfully. But at the same time, these policies that they have been put into play, demonetization, GST, CAA, these are not in the benefit of an equalitarian or a better society, or even the basis of the preamble. So I believe they have captured the imagination. They have built a cadre. In the past 100 years, they have come to power by manipulating the minds of the people. But to me, we need a solution that truly benefits the country in a way that creates an equalitarian nation.
And what do you think of Narendra Modi himself?
He gives strong speeches, but I don't know why he's afraid of standing in front of the media, being questioned by. I've seen the interview that he was questioned by you, and he drank water and refrained. I mean, I think he's afraid of the media asking him questions. He doesn't have the convictions to stand by what he claims that he makes speeches in, and I'm not convinced by his intellectual or even acumen in any way about what is a better society. But I do believe that he has worked on the ground. He has come to power on an ideological premise, and he has given up family and personal concerns. And I don't see him as corrupt, but ideologically I don't agree with him, and I'm not convinced that he's in the best interest of a larger India.
My last question, and I'm going to go back to the thought you expressed a moment ago. You may carry an American passport, but you identify with India, you identify with Kannadigas, you identify with Karnataka, and you identify with the ideology of promoting the best for these people in their lives. Absolutely. After all that you've been through, from 2021 onwards, or maybe I should say from 2017 onwards, are you also a little disillusioned with India?
I'm not disillusioned at all. I understand that when the system is threatened, because I said that it's creating an atmosphere of fear, but it's not just the fear that it's creating among the people. The system is also afraid of the ideology we stand for. When it is threatened, it will throw the kitchen sink at us. We are prepared to fight through the law by doing nothing illegal, by standing with what is just, and the courts will uphold that. The people of Karnataka and the people of India and the activists on the ground and anybody who believes in a truly India for Indians all together equally and under the Constitution's preamble will stand with us.
Will it break your heart if it goes all the way to the Supreme Court and the final court in the land doesn't find in your favor and you lose your overseas citizenship? Will that break your heart?
It will definitely break my heart, but it will not break my spirit, that we will continue to keep fighting, and we will fight. This is a lifelong purpose. And I didn't have the privilege of being born in Karnataka and India, but I will spend my last years of my entire life, I want to spend in Karnataka and give my last breath to the people of India. And that is my dedication to the people, because I am a beneficiary of the country of India from caste, from educational, from economic, and all types of way. Even though I have been born there, I am benefiting from the people of Karnataka for generations. It's my purpose and responsibility to give back to the best of my ability.
Chetan Kumar, good luck and thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Mr. Thapar.
Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch the interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me.